Chapter 6 The Odyssey, Part 2. The bright-eyed goddess placed her golden wand upon Odysseus. She exchanged his old clothes for clean ones, then made him much taller, younger, and more handsome. When Odysseus re-entered the hut, Telemachus exclaimed, "You suddenly look quite different, stranger. Before you were a shabby old man, and now you look like a god." The long-suffering Odysseus replied, "I am not a god, Telemachus. I am your father, whose absence has brought you great grief and has forced you to live with cruel men in your house. I have returned home after 20 years of pain and wandering." Odysseus kissed his son and let a tear roll down his cheek, for the first time permitting himself to express some emotion. Wise Telemachus could not yet believe that this stranger was his father. "No mortal could transform himself in this way," he said. "I cannot help but think that you must be one of the deathless gods." "It is easy for a god to transform a mortal," Odysseus explained. "Athena causes me to appear sometimes as a beggar and sometimes as my true self." Then Telemachus threw his arms around his great father and wept for all the years that he had not known him. Odysseus too wept for all the years that he had been deprived of his son, just as birds tear the air with shrill cries when they return to their nests with food, expecting to feed their hungry young chicks, and find their nests empty because farmers have stolen their young. So Odysseus and Telemachus cried for the years they had lost. When they had had their fill of weeping, and Odysseus had told Telemachus of his travels, the man of many schemes said, "Now, tell me how many suitors there are and what kind of men they are. I must decide whether the two of us alone can deal with them, or whether we will need to enlist the aid of others." Wise Telemachus replied, "Father, your friends have told me what a mighty warrior you were and how wise in counsel, but I question your judgment here. Do you really expect the two of us to conquer more than 100 strong men? We will need help." "All right then," Odysseus responded. "Will Athena and Zeus be help enough, or should I try to think of others also?" "They are enough, of course," Telemachus said, "except that they spend their time on Mount Olympus." "I think they will be with us when we need them," his father replied. "But for the time being, go home and join the arrogant suitors. I will come later as an aged beggar. No matter how I am treated, I want you to wait patiently, even if someone throws something at me or hits me or drags me by my feet out the door. When Athena puts it into my mind, I will nod my head as a sign that you should remove all the weapons and armor that line the walls of our great hall and hide them in the storeroom. If any suitor questions your actions, simply tell him that over the years they have become covered with soot from the fire that burns in the center of the great hall. Leave a sword, a spear, and an ox-hide shield behind for you and me." The man of many schemes concluded, "And if you are truly my son, you will tell no one, not even your mother, that I have returned." Just before the swineherd returned from the city, Athena transformed Odysseus so that the swineherd would find the same old stranger he had left in his hut. As loyal as the swineherd was, he had so much love in his heart for Odysseus and for the steadfast Penelope that Athena was not sure he would be able to keep the knowledge of his master's return locked safely in his heart.